We've had two new stickers come in the workshop. Ab Shop from Italy and Mick's Workshop from the US. Mick is a relatively new channel, about 12 months old I think roughly. Mick's doing up a surface grinder at the moment. Stripping it. The last video that he put up about that, he was stripping it all down and she's pretty filthy. So I reckon he's going to end up with a really nice surface grinder when he's done there. Go and see Mick, he's got a clawsing lathe. Yeah, go and visit Mick, give him some support, give me a subscription. Alberto from Italy. I believe this is the first, says in Alberto's letter, it's the first sticker he's got here in Australia. So thanks Alberto, appreciate that mate. Go and visit Alberto. His editing is brilliant in my books. He just does a good job. Interesting projects, so go and give him a subscription. And Alberto also said in his letter that he hopes to visit Australia sometime. So if you ever do, mate, get in touch and yeah, we'll meet up. Thanks guys, appreciate it. Well, g'day and welcome back. Trent and I have been away on our trip up to McKillops and across to the Dargo pub. Had an absolute ball. Flogged rain all the way up there. While we were camping it didn't rain, thankfully. And yeah, we had a great time. No dramas with the ute. Everything went well, the camping setup went well. Good bunch of people that we went with. Yeah, everyone had a great time. It was worthwhile doing. The missus and I have been to Sydney, up to the hospital and got all that sorted out. So it's back into the workshop finally. And going to make a start on a few of these parts for this hand winch. I'm just trying to source some modular 2.5 gear cutters to do the 2 gears and a 70-degree milling cutter to do the, what do you call it, for the ratchet. So, but there's plenty of other bits and pieces I can get on with, yeah, to make and between now and when I source them. So this project may go on for a little while. Anyway, Aaron was kind enough to CNC the handle, which is absolutely beautiful. The ratchet pawl, which come out absolutely Mickey Mouse. The side plates and the handle. So really impressed with that. So I'm just going to flick through this, pick a couple of parts and just start building. So they've all got to be built at some stage, so just get into it and get them made. So I'll just randomly pick a page out of all these plans. There's 13 pages all up. A few of these, like that's 40mm diameter outs, like OD, 40mm OD, 40mm OD. So I can do these 3 pieces out of one bit of material. I've got a piece chucked up that I've just cleaned up the outside on. So I reckon I just smash out these 3 and that's 3 out of the list to be done. So from this face, I've got to come in 6mm and reduce it down to 32mm. Got to open this out to a 20mm ball. 20.01. Check the drawings, see what sort of chamfers they require, and then I can part this one off. This part's got to be 11mm overall, so I'm going to part it off at 12 and a bit, and then I can hold it in the 3-jaw once I get it 3-jaw back on, and then just face it back off. There it is, first part, and it's hot, so I can just, that's getting hot, so I can just face that off after. This next piece has got to have a 25mm bore, very similar OD to the last one. I'll just get it smashed out. So it's got to have a 6mm shoulder put in it down to 32mm. And 3202, I'll settle for that. It had to be 6mm. We're right on it. Okay, I can break these edges and then part it off to length. Last night after dinner I come out and decide to make a start on the shaft that holds the pinion gear. So it's all one piece. There's a pinion gear that's going to be in here. It is a 14 tooth gear in the middle. So it's 202mm overall length. I've turned it down over like the shaft. The gear is 40mm in diameter, which is what this is now. I'm going to turn down this diameter down to 18mm and there's 16mm on the end. I'll part it off, flip it around in the 4-jaw, clock it all back up, and then I'll turn this end, which has got 2 threads, 18mm here and 9/16 there. So metric and imperial on the one job. I'm still sourcing some gear cutters, so this will be just left as a blank for now. So when I get them, this will be right to go. I've put a witness mark up here where I've got to cut to. It's got to go down to 18mm. Okay, we've got that rough down. Actually made some pretty good chips then, at the start anyway. So what I'll do, I'm just going to let this cool down because it's as hot as all buggery. And then I'll take a proper measurement and then I'm going to switch to a TNGG insert to put the finish on. I know I can get a nice finish with that. So 12mm in from the end face, I've got to reduce it down to 16mm. Nailed it. She's spot on. So it has raised a little burr there, so I just want to knock that burr off with a file, put a slight chamfer on this here. The length is correct, so then I can part it off, then spin it around and hold it by this end and machine the features on the other end of the shaft. There we go. Tis off. Rightio, I've got it all parted off, set up. I've machined it to length, put a sander in it. I've got to machine this portion down to 18mm and leave 22mm length here at 40mm diameter for the gear to be cut on. So this will end up being 18mm, then I'll have an 18mm thread, and at the very end I'll have a 9/16 thread. Fair bit of material to remove off, so I may just do a time lapse again. Okay, we'll let that cool right off because that's pretty darn hot. Had really good chip breaking using that WNMG insert. Yeah, it broke, breaking chips the whole way, which is brilliant. So I've changed over to a TNGG insert just to get that nice finish. And I've only got a little bit to go. So I'll let it cool down, have a cup of tea, and then finish it off to dimension. Hopefully we've hit our number of 18mm. That's close enough to me. Spot on. So I've just got a couple of mil or mil and a half, I think, to take off this face. Look at that, just got delivered to the shed. How good's that? And a coffee. I ain't whinging about that. Thanks, Beck. That's one thing I really like about these TNGG inserts. I actually dialed on a 1/1000 on the dial. So 1/1000 depth of cut, and it obviously pulled it off. So they are good. So now we're right on size. It's brilliant. Okay, chamfer these two edges, and I've got to put a thread on here. That's that thread finished. Need to put an 18mm thread, which I need to change a gear over in the head and the change gears. Okay, the plans call for an 18 by 2.5. I don't have a 2.5 tap, an 18 by, but I do have an 18 by 1.5, which that's what it's going to be. Because I'll probably end up, the nut that goes over this is, I've got to make that later. It's in like a boss type setup, so I'll probably end up just using a tap to cut that thread instead of trying to single point it, because the single point threading tool I've got will be too large. I ain't going to stuff around and grind one up, so a tap is what it's going to be. 24mm long this thread's going to be. I do have an 18 by 1.5 die nut that I can test it with, so we'll just get into it. This shaft is now complete, bar the gear teeth. I can't go any further on this part. It can just be shelved now and wait. That's how its shaft turned out in the end. I do have some jaw marks on here, which I'm not concerned about. When I cut the gears in it, they'll disappear hopefully. It's turned out alright. Well, I'm going to move on to make the spindle for the ratchet pawl. It's going to be a quick job. I've already got the material down to 25mm in the lathe. It's just simple turning on the outside to get it down to dimension, just a piece of scrap steel. So we'll do this shred on the end first, part it off, put in a collet, hold it by this end and machine the end where the ratchet pawl actually sits with a circlip groove. I know it's cheating using a die, but that's the way it is today. Okay, I'm going to part this off 25mm from this face, from this inner face here. There's a burr on here, I just got to knock that burr out. Just got it. So I just got to put a circlip groove in there, just so I can hold this pawl in, this ratchet pawl in the right spot. Okay, I've just ground up a real rough as guts tool, just to put a little circlip groove in here. I think it's going to work. Well, I've put a mark there and I think it'll work. So there's only one way to find out. Dodgiest set of circlip pliers here. Hope we can make it work. A smaller circlip, I think. It's got a little bit of play, which is probably a good thing, so it's not going to bind or anything silly. Hopefully. So that's what we ended up with. It's not some of my best work, but the part's made. Okay, the next part to this puzzle is item number 20. It's a thrust nut made of mild steel. This goes over the shaft that has the handle on it and the small 14 tooth gear. So M18 thread, BM18 by 1.5 in the middle here, 9/16 this end clearance, M18 this end clearance in the middle, 32mm OD, the wider section, and this is 25. So I've got a piece of material in the lathe, a piece of scrap that I found that I've just roughly got down. Still got another mil or so to take off the OD to bring it to 32, and I can put the steps and that in it and then start boring the guts out and doing the features on the inside. That little piece there, that'll get taken out later. So we're shooting for 32, 31, 95, 96, fucking close enough. Oh, I just took a real light, just like a shadow pass with that TNGG insert. Smack on the money. Okay, so what I've done there, I've opened this bore up to 16.5 mil, which will be for the 18 by 1.5 thread. This last 20 mil portion here has to be opened up to an 18 mil clearance. So I think that's what the plans mean anyway, but that's what it's going to get. So using this carbide boring bar that I was sent by a viewer in Perth, which is bloody awesome. A spot on 45 mil there, which is perfect. There we go. Now I've just, there's the very end, can I explain this? So 20 mil up here is out to 18 mil clearance, then it's going to be an 18 by 1 thread, then the last 5 millimeters of this part is a 9/16 reamed hole. So I've drilled it, I've just got to ram it now with a 9/16 ream. Then there's got to be a shoulder put on the end once I've parted it off. So probably a little bit backwards in trying to explain it, but yeah, it's been one of them days. Well, what I thought I had, I haven't got a 9/16 ream. So it's just a clearance hole from what I can work out off the plans. So I'm just going to drill it. Be done with it. I don't really pick it up in the camera there, but there is a slight witness mark of the tap. So I'm just going to machine that out, I reckon. I can just gently chuck that back up and take a very light face cut and clean this up. blow out first. There we go. Fits. And you put a horn on a jellyfish. I'm just going to do a bit of a recap on the parts that I've made so far, because some I've made off camera because they're just plain simple turning that we've all seen a shitload of. These are meant to be bronze, but they're brass. There's 3 of those bushes. These go on the end of the Ujaka 50. One of these anyway. These go on the end of the shaft that the drum goes onto. The drum being this section here. It's got a gear here and just a flat plate there, just to keep the strap in place. This is a part, this was just straight turning. It has to have a big bevel put on this edge here. It's the instructions, or the notes say to do that afterwards once I got the plate, the big disc put on there. So that goes on there like that. That'll hold the gear will be on this side, strap in the middle. Pretty sure I showed the nut being made. We've seen the ratchet pawl. Some just little bits and pieces. So slowly working through them. That one fits in there, I think, from memory. Yeah, it's tight, that one. So we're getting through all the bits. Still haven't organised cutters for the gears yet, and I haven't got a piece of material large enough to do the big gear. I think I'm going to have to make that up out of 2 pieces, weld them together and then machine them as a whole. So that's where I'm up to. But a lot of this stuff, like these bushes and that, it's not worth showing. Like we've all seen a heap of plain turning, and I don't want to fill the videos up just full of plain turning. It's not worth it. So that's where we're up to. So making headway.